January 1st, 2025 has arrived, and it's the moment you've all been waiting for, the top 10 rackets used in 2024. This includes all the rackets reviewed here on YouTube between January 1st, 2024 and December 31st, 2024. We've actually arrived at this point because this video will also feature Alvin's top 5. This year, unlike last year, he really put in the effort. I saw him studying all the rackets during the Master Final in Barcelona. We took our time because we reviewed over 40 rackets, and ranking them to determine the best 10 was incredibly difficult. I had no doubts about number 1, but putting the others in order was a real challenge. I know rankings can lead to what I call insults, like this one got a better score, this one is terrible, this one is better, why didn't you include this one? So here's my top 10. I've been thinking about it for a month and I've come to a conclusion. Actually, there might be 11 rackets instead of 10. Alvin's top 5, Alvin's worst, my worst, which will probably be 2 of my worst. This video, by the way, will also be translated using artificial intelligence into English and will be posted on Padel Review Eng if I can manage it. So it's an experiment to try to revive that channel, which I haven't used much, and then it quickly died because it required too much effort that I couldn't maintain. Now let's see if with the help of artificial intelligence translating everything I say from Italian to English, we can also make videos in English, even if they are shorter. That said, I'll start with Alvin's top 5, as mentioned, which includes all the rackets reviewed on YouTube from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. 4 as of December 31st, 2024, pay too much attention to the ratings we've given because often the scores are also a compromise between me and Alvin. Maybe he likes a racket more than I do or vice versa, so the score could just be an average of my rating and his. So this is my top 10, there will be Alvin's top 5. And the 2 worst of the year, actually let's start right away with Alvin's top 5. That way he can take all the first insults. In 5th place for Alvin, we have the T91 Boss 1 Huracan, first Manu Spain racket from the Italian brand. In 4th place, we have the Sane Aggression Evolution Diamond Alpha, the pink racket, which is Alvin's favorite color. Place Starbite Triton Pro 2024. 2nd place, we have the Bull Padel Vertex 04 Woman. Wow, what a racket. And in 1st place, surprisingly, is the Adidas Metal Bond 3.4, the brand new Metal Bond signed by Alegalan. Agree with Alvin's top 5? Let us know in the comments. I'll also tell you what Alvin's worst racket of 2024 was, the Head Radical Motion. Now it's time for my top 10, starting from the 10th position, where I have 2 rackets tied. So, as I mentioned, there will be 11 rackets in my list. Padel Pollux, because compared to 2024, it is the racket that surprised me the most in the Dopadel series. You know that the Caster 2024 is the ultimate racket for me this year, both Caster and Stellar. I was a bit disappointed with the Castor, less so with the Stellar, but the Dopadel Pollux is the one that, in my opinion, has improved the most. It has become a versatile offensive racket, even though it has a round shape, and it's not just for right-handed players, but also for left-handed ones. The build quality is, as usual, excellent. The other one is the Sane, the blue one, with which I made the best Viboras of my life. So it had to be in the top 10. So in 10th place, we have 2 rackets. In 9th place, we have the Babolat Technical Viper 1 Lebron 2.5, the brand new racket from Lobo. It really reminds me of the old Viper Carbon, a completely different racket from last year, a challenging one because it's heavy. Mine weighed 375 grams with a balance of over 27.5, but it's an offensive racket, a racket made and finished for a left-handed player like ours. LeBron played on the left, but next year he will play on the right. However, this is finally the racket that Lobo is using. It's a great offensive racket compared to the other one. It's much easier to use, has a better ball exit and a larger sweet spot. I really liked it. In 8th place is the Wilson Bella Pro V2.5, the new racket by Fernando Belasteguin, who retired in Milan. I wouldn't say it was love at first sight, but it was almost like an extension of my arm. It's a racket that allows for powerful and touch play, versatile enough to be perfect both on the right and left sides with just the right amount of power. It's truly an amazing racket that I've fallen in love with. If I had to find a flaw, it's a bit fragile. Let's hope that the Bella V3.0, which is set to be released, will be at least more durable and robust than this one. In 7th place, and I think this is the biggest surprise of all, considering it was the worst racket by far in recent years, is the new Nox by Tapia T10 Genius Luxury 18K. Amishke. Phenomenal. This year, she has really become racket lady. Going from being the worst to entering the top 10 means that there has been a significant improvement. Many accused us in the video saying that Noct already paid for the review because the racket is the same as last year. The racket is not the same as last year. The plate is much more homogeneous. The roughness is different. I found it to be a truly versatile racket, easy to handle both left and right. A racket, however, costs a lot. Nox has raised the prices on almost all their rackets in a somewhat exaggerated way. But in this case, we're not focusing on the price in this review. We're only looking at how it performed on the court. The new Nox by Tapia is truly an amazing racket, finally with a uniform surface, and I want to emphasize that. In 6th place is the Adidas Metal Bond 3.4. As you know, in previous years, they always gave me a hard time. This year, I've tried all three, and the control version will be featured in the review we'll shoot in January. None of the three bothered my arm. We removed the weights. The new weight and balance system is a system that can be revised, but the racket, Metal Bond 3.4, has become a phenomenal racket. The shape has changed, the carbon has changed, the texture has changed, the weights have changed, the bridge, the profile, so many things have changed, and it has become a fantastic racket. Primarily for left-handed players, but can also be used effectively on the right side. It's an offensive racket, a racket like Ale Galan, a really beautiful racket that deserved to be in the top 10 of 2024. In 5th place is the T91 Boss 1 Huracan, the first racket made in Spain by the Italian brand. It's an amazing racket for ease of use, but ease of use. Don't think of it as a beginner's racket. It's a racket for intermediates, advanced players, and high-level players. It's a racket that plays really well, both on the right and left. Versatile par excellence. It really reminds me of last year's Padel Castor and also the Zenith, the racket I signed, which isn't in this top 10 because I didn't think it was right to include it. There won't be even one. There's this mention. But the T91 Boss 1 Huracan is an amazing racket. Those who have tried it loved it, and really, for its playability right from the first hit, it truly activates immediately. Don't let it slip away. In 4th place is the Adidas Ad Power Legend by Seba Nerone, a racket that I thought, why did I try it so late? It's truly a diamond racket with a medium-high balance, offensive with excellent ball selection, but you can also play well with it on the right side. It's a super racket. Then when the review came out, it was priced around 180 euros, and it sold out immediately on Padel Market. By the way, I remind you of the discount code CARKIA10 on the Padel Market site, which will continue throughout 2025. So when you go to Padel Market, use CARKIA10. The Ad Power by Seba Nerone is a fantastic racket for intermediate to high-level players, primarily for left-handed players, but also great for right-handed players. It's beautiful. We've reached the podium. In 3rd place is the Star by Triton Pro. It was in the top 10 in 2024, meaning in the last video, and it's in the top 10 again this year, actually in the top 3, because it's a fantastic racket for advanced players. It has feel, control, power, and it's also slightly less extreme compared to last year's model. So I'm talking about the Triton Pro 2024, not the 2025, which I haven't tried yet. We tried the Pro Touch, which we spoke very highly of, and I think it's a great racket even for intermediate levels. But the Pro 2024 is a racket that simply had to be in the top 10, tailored for left-handed players. It's offensive, so don't let it slip away if you find it. In 2nd place, Lock Max. Hype, great novelty of 2024 because Lock is a new brand. The Mike Jianghua signature racket is the racket that I said I just tried it. But why didn't I try it before? It's phenomenal, great ball exit, easy to handle, and the grip is super comfortable. Maybe the sweet spot isn't extreme, and the racket might feel a bit fragile because it scratches easily when it touches the ground. But on the court, it's phenomenal. It's perfect for right-handed players who are offensive, And for us lefties, it's really a racket you can't miss. By the way, the new model isn't coming out anytime soon, so go get it because it's a super racket. Now, on the top step of the podium, it had to be the Bull Padel Vertex 04 Woman version 2024 because I haven't tried the 2025 yet, but from the specs, it seems to be the same. I should try it in January, hoping Padel Market sends it to me soon. But it's a racket that has a W on it, and many people have asked me, can I play with a racket that has a W for woman? I told them, think of it as the W for winner because with that racket, you never lose. It's phenomenal for precise lobs. Incredible, the best lobs of your life. Easy to handle in defense, a wall that won't fall down, and you'll always be able to hit the ball back. Many of my friends, even at a high level, have bought it and play with it at a high level, both right and left-handed. It might be a bit soft, not hard, but I repeat, for an intermediate and even advanced level, it's a racket you can't let slip away. Plus, it's currently priced at €135 on Padel Market with the code KARCHI for 10% off. If you haven't gotten it yet, treat yourself to a gift for the start of 2025 because it's a phenomenal racket in total defense with sharp vibrations, but also good in attack, meaning the ball travels well. Yes, you can hit 3 with a racket that says woman on it. And above all, you won't drop a ball on the ground. So, that's my top 10 for 2024. Let me know what you think in the comments, and please follow the Padel Review channel. We need to reach 20,000 subscribers as soon as possible. But now, let's talk about the flop 1 of 2024, which might be flop 2, the Adidas Cross City 3.4. I didn't try last year's model, but this year's one I really didn't like, and it vibrates, so it's a total no-go. The other one, I'm sorry to say, is the Tactical Padel El Toro 1.0. It's like ruining a phenomenal racket like the El Toro 1.0 by making a version that has nothing to do with it. I didn't like it at all, and if you have any news about Tactical Padel, let us know, because it's true that they play at Bergamini, but it's hard to find rackets. We don't know anything anymore. Apparently, they're not producing in Spain anymore, and we don't know what's going on. That said, that's all I had to tell you about the top 10 for 2024. For the insults in the comments, which rackets were missing? There were 2 rackets that I wanted to include in the top 10 but didn't make it. One is Ruiz's last year, which had been Adidas's best until the use of the Adi Power Legend and the new Metal Bond. The Speed Motion could have made the list too, the limited edition one, the one from Lazio by Ari Sanchez. That one was also an extension of my hand. But since it's very similar to the other Speed Motion, I didn't include it. That's it. See you in 2025, which has already started. Best wishes, with many more reviews and videos. Hi,